There are a lot of potentially awesome animal battles out there: tiger versus crocodile, jaguar versus anaconda, elephant versus hippo. But there's one battle that keeps popping up, and that is Silverback Gorilla versus Grizzly Bear. This topic was even featured on Joe Rogan's extremely famous podcast. Before we begin, let's clarify which animals we're actually talking about. Let's meet our contenders and settle on the rules. For these battles, we assume both animals are healthy, they're on an open grass field, and have full intent of hurting one another. Or if it helps to make a better picture, imagine them in a large cage, UFC style. A cage large enough so it doesn't hinder the movements or fighting style of either animal, and small enough to prevent one animal from just running away. No weapons or tools are allowed, so those are the rules. Now 3, 2, 1, fight! As said before, we'll speak about the silverbacks and the grizzlies. Though many people know them as silverback gorillas, this term is exclusive to the adult males of the species known as mountain gorilla. They got this name due to the silvery sheen that the hair on their backs takes on once they get old enough. Fighting style. Although a silverback gorilla is a huge, very fast and strong animal, there's no way it could defeat the much faster and larger grizzly bear in a fair fight. Grizzlies and gorillas actually have very similar fighting styles, meaning they both engage face-to-face with their enemy, tend to stand on their hind feet, and attempt to maul them. Bears will swipe with their claws and bite, and gorillas will pound with their fists and bite. They both have the ability to walk either upright or on all fours, but all the similarities end here. So even though they're both classified as omnivores, gorillas don't eat anything aside from insects, and grizzlies eat a lot of small animals and fish. Size. Size is a very important factor in fights, and people usually go in one of two directions. Either they go with the average animal size, or they pick the biggest verifiable specimen on record. But there's good news here, since the average size and the biggest animal tend to stay in reasonable proportion to each other. For example, the largest silverback gorilla could reach 6 feet in height, weigh 500 pounds, and the main weapon is biting and strength. On the other hand, the grizzly bear could reach 10 feet in height, weigh 1,500 pounds, and its main weapon is biting. Its claws and strength also. So looking at the size difference alone, you can notice that the bear is at least twice as heavy and can be 3 times as heavy. Strength. When we think about gorillas, we imagine something extremely strong, and we're not wrong. They're strong compared to humans. We've seen a lot of videos of gorillas snapping down small trees, dragging a person along easily, or even breaking the glass in the zoo. So yes, we can all agree that they're strong. Exactly how strong they are is very difficult to measure, but compared to the grizzly bears, they're basically nothing special. Grizzlies can also roll over giant stones, or they can easily push over trees. Grizzly bears have very thick hides, and it's noted that a large Kodiak bear could have a layer of an amazing 7 inches thick. The gorilla has only one way to attack the bear, and that is with a bite. And no doubt they have a fearsome bite that could do a lot of damage, though it's not enough to win this fight. Gorilla's punch could do minimal damage to a grizzly bear. First of all, the neck is too thick to choke or snap. With a smaller animal, a gorilla could pick them up and smash them on the ground. You don't see any way it could do that to a grizzly. On the other hand, the bear could smash that like button and subscribe button just like you do if you haven't done so already. No, really, in all seriousness now, bears could swipe with their massive claws and bite while it was getting bitten. Their claws are extremely large and look like daggers that could easily rend the flesh of any animal. The gorilla couldn't even reach the neck of the bear if we take in mind how much shorter it is. Okay, so let's put it this way. If you ask the hunter, what would they do if they had a 9mm pistol and a grizzly bear in front of them? What would they do? Would they feel confident? They would regretfully say no. The gun might damage the bear, but won't be enough. Most of them are claiming that the gun won't even be able to penetrate the skull of this amazing animal. Who's more dangerous? In general, the gorillas, especially the silverbacks, are considered peaceful animals. They don't attack humans, which is great. That could happen in very rare circumstances, while grizzlies could be very aggressive. Mostly they'll decide to avoid humans, but sometimes they could stumble into a campsite, or they could even attack hikers who found themselves between a mother and her cubs. Differences. Silverback gorillas have flatter noses, pointier heads, and prints as unique as human fingerprints. Their ears are hard to distinguish from human ears, not to mention their head placement, which is almost the same as humans. Silverback gorillas are covered in springy, soft hair except on their faces, chests, palms, and bottoms of their feet. They have nails on their fingers and toes like humans. Grizzly bears have round, large heads, and their nose is almost canine. They have round, small, furry ears high on their heads. They have thick, dark brown fur and 20 claws several inches in length, one on each toe of their forefeet. So we have the stats, the similarities, differences, and strengths. The result of this fight would be obvious. We've never seen a fight between a gorilla and a bear before. The reason for that is that these animals don't live in the same environment. It's most likely to see leopards fighting gorillas. They live with gorillas and regularly fight them. The winner in this battle could be different. Sometimes leopards win, sometimes gorillas, and sometimes they're found done next to each other. Most of us would agree that a grizzly bear could easily beat any bigger cat, even a tiger that is much bigger and stronger than a leopard. And what would be a fair fight? Gorilla versus lion maybe, or grizzly versus 100 unarmed people. So we did a comparison between a gorilla and a grizzly bear, but there's one great piece of research about the gorillas and the polar bears. The differences here are even bigger, meaning that polar bears could probably fight two adults, healthy silverback gorillas. Polar bears have razor-sharp claws and teeth. Their bite is so powerful that it could easily crunch through the bones. They have a massive weight and strength advantage, so if the gorilla uses its nails, that won't do anything to a bear. All they can do is scratch. Whatever we say, whichever stats or information we have, even though everything is in favor of the bear, we can never say with certainty who will win this fight. The only reason is that they'll never meet each other in nature. But one thing is clear, they're both champions on their own land. In their house, they're unrivaled and untouchable in their positions at the top of the tree, fooling us all into a false sense of security with their body language and laid-back behavior. We often forget about them, and we speak more about lions, tigers, rhinos, and even hippos. With gorilla versus bear, we have two lords of the land. These two beasts can go from a chilled state to fully charged aggression in a matter of seconds. Sadly, these two are species that are slowly disappearing from our Earth. Environmental change and habitat loss are forcing grizzly bears into the human areas where they are hunted, and the gorillas only survive in two alpine rainforests in the heart of Africa. So the biggest fight these guys should win is surviving in nature. Let's hope these both animals will find the support and the space they need.